Good evening. The Who's today were on at Rosehill. um, now, of course, during the week we had a couple of meetings. Canterbury on Wednesday, the track was good there. The rail was in the normal position. There was a light northeasterly blowing, and the track, well, the fence, there was most certainly nothing wrong with the fence, but it didn't play greyhoundish like it has in the past. 7 races. Well, first of all, six outright favourites won. Was an absolute strip out for the captains, and there were 3 leaders that won, and 1 or 2 that came from behind the leaders on the fence, and runners that came from well back down the outside. The track was a lot better than fence on fire as we generally get at Canterbury. Don't know whether they doctored it up or not, but it wasn't the wind. The wind was only a light northeasterly, as I say. But the track, the fence was most certainly not a disadvantage by any means. It was a help if you're on the fence, especially leading on the fence. But as I say, without repeating myself, you could come from behind. Then we went to Hawkesbury on Thursday. Now, as I mentioned to you, this track, there's a lot of kickback on this track ever since they've lengthened the straight, whether they top dressed it or not, but there's so much kickback. It seems to be very sandy, and horses back in the field, especially if you're near the fence, they cop the backwash, and it's very hard for them to make up ground. Plus the fence could be a little bit sus still at Hawkesbury. Now, very similar to today at Hawkesbury, we had a gale to start off with at Hawkesbury. It was more or less coming from the 1,000-metre mark, start across to nearly to the winning post or straight into the grandstand. Leaders, when they turned for home in the early races, were copping the wind, the brunt of the wind, leading for home on the fence. And it was an advantage to be off the fence, but not back in the field. Off the fence and up near the lead was an advantage. But as I say, well, the wind was still very strong in race 2 and race 3. It was fairly strong in race 4, and then it gradually eased off after race 4. Or no, it was fairly strong still in race 4 and 5. Say races 6 through it started to ease a lot, and by the time the last race came along, the winner was taken straight to the lead. Wild Journey stayed on the fence all the way. They never went hard by the same token. It was only an average pace up front, but the winner did stay close to the fence and did lead, but the wind was very, very light by the time the last race came along, which most probably was the answer to that winner getting home. Now, at Rosehill today, we had this very, very strong wind starting off the program in race 1. It was still there in race 2. It was still there in race 3. By the time race 4 came around, it had swung around from a nor'wester to a direct westerly wind. So they were running into it, straight into it down the side. It was affecting, I suppose, a couple runners out wide who didn't have cover. Whereas before race, say 5, it was across the nor'wester. It was affecting the leaders a bit more. But by the same token, in race 4, we had the winner lead all the way, Champagne Cath. It was a little bit off the fence, but it did fight on and lead all the way. By the time the last race, or race 7, well, by the time race 6 came around, earlier on, it was, say, race 1, it was at least 50, if not 60 kilometres an hour. By the time race 6 came around, it was only about 25, eased again in race 7, and by the last race, it might have only been a 20 or less kilometre-hour wind. So it didn't have the effect as it did on the earlier races. Now, unfortunately, Gay Waterhouse, she had the two favourites in the she had the favourites in the first three races, the designated leaders, and they all led. The first two got beat. Julianus led and got home in the third. In this first race, we had you saw on the screen 108.7. But in the marketplace it was about 3 less, 105, and this was won by the very well backed multilateral, which was sensationally backed last start to beat Ecuador. And today, after opening up about an $8 chance, it got out to $10, but only started around about the $8 mark. It came into about 7.50 at one stage, 13-2, but got back out to 7-1. It got wind cover in between runners back in about fifth last position, ridden by the pumper, whereas the favourite in the first race, Ecuador, it was straight to the lead. I owned the lead, and as soon as they went out of the back straight, of course, it ran straight into the wind. He could have been a little bit off the fence, although no, he was fairly close to it, I think, in the first race on Ecuador. He tried to shake them off turning for home, but the wind factor took its toll, and it went down by 3/4 of a length, 0.8 of a length, with multilateral, as I say, easing off heels, ridden by the pumper, timing his run to perfection, and getting to the lead in the shadows of the post, as they say, to win by that margin. The runner that was directly behind the favourite on the fence finished up running third. Marden had barrier one, and so I suppose it could have been wind affected slightly as well, and close to the fence, which wasn't the place to be even when the wind did ease later on the day. Close to the fence was no good, although towards the end of the day, yes, that they did stay closer. But this first race, as I say, it was able to grab the favourite. We let you lay $1.45 on. We put it up a 3-1 on chance. Ecuador got out to $1.45, back in to $1.40, starting that price. And the winner was the only other runner backed in the race. Race 2, here we saw Eurozone perfectly positioned in the 1-1 position, ridden by Horseman Bowman. And Gay's runner here, I own the lead. Oi, 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 Aussies love sport. It went straight to the lead, but he stayed 4 and 5 off the fence all the way on Aussies love sport in this race, realising possibly the mistake he made in the first. But still, it wasn't, the wind was still very strong, and it still wasn't enough to, even though staying off the fence, to get it home, because the wind was still into his face. And with cover in the 1-1 position, as I say, was Eurozone, who was sensationally backed. In this race, they said 102 on the screen. There was 4 less in the marketplace, only about 98. These were the flux. Criterion was $4.20 out to $4.60, back into $3.80. Now the favourite, Captain's Reach for Aussies Love Sport, we put it up the odds-on chance favourite, 4-5. Well, have your 5-4, $1.80, got out to $2.40 Aussies Love Sport, started that price. The winner, Eurozone, $4, we put it up a 3-1 chance. It got out to $4.60, but it only started $3.40. By far the best back runner in the race. The second horse, Criterion, was on its back all the way. Well, not all the way, it eased off coming down the side, got onto his back coming to the turn, looked certain to run Eurozone down, but he didn't. Eurozone held on to win by 0.2 of a length, and the favourite was 1.2 lengths back in third position. The wind factor obviously determining the result in race 2. Race 3, 104.2 on the screen, 98% only in the marketplace. Now, this was the leader that of Gaze that taken straight to the lead, Julianus. by Nash. The first two were ridden by terrific Tommy Berry. Nippy Nash was aboard this one, and Nash got away with a very easy lead, nothing pressuring him all the way, and he stayed 3 and 4 off the fence from the time they hit the first bend out of the straight. It was a 2,400 metre race, and he stayed in that position to the turn where the horse got out to the middle of the track after turning. As I say, it was 4 or 5 off turning, but got out under pressure, but still had to run into the wind. And he said, "Come into my parlour," said the Spider to the Fly, on the second pick, Less is More, who was very, very well backed. After $5.50, plenty of it given, only started $4. It drew barrier 1, and it was running in third position. Looking at the winner, Julianus, was Purple Planet on its outside, but behind, couple behind it, and on the inside from the barrier 1, Less is More, and it was closest to the fence turning for home, and stayed in that position. Got beat 6.8 lengths, running fifth. But Julianus, well off the fence turning for home, even though running into the wind, had a very cheap lead and was able to win by 2 lengths from the third favourite, I'm Imposing, who put in a bit of a dash after turning, but then it was evident halfway up he wasn't going to be able to catch the winner. Now, I was $2.70 when they jumped the winner, Julianus. We put it up a 5 to or 10 to 9 chance, or 5 to 4 chance. It got out to $2.80, given a bit hard to get, but started $2.70 on my board, and not really no takers really. As I say, Less is More was by far the best backed. $5.50 given, only started $4. Race 4 came along. There was 101.3 on the screen, only 97% in the marketplace, and this was the one by Champagne Cat. Now the wind had swung around now to be more or less a direct westerly, so it most probably didn't have as much effect on the leaders. They were more or less the runners on the runner on the outside of the leader, and runners a little bit off the fence were copying a little bit more than they were when it was in the northeasterly direction. And Champagne Cat didn't have to roll along hard in the lead. Came across from barrier 9, found the lead with Dream Forward on its outside, and it made a bit. Dream Forward finished up running fifth, only beaten about 1.5 lengths. It loomed up at when they turned for home, where the winner had got off the away from the fence, and was able to hang on and win by 1/2 length from More Than Faith, who sat in the one position, coming to the turn, 1 position, having every chance. And the winner, as I say, fought on. There was only just under 2 lengths between the first 6 horses when they crossed the line. Run this race again, and I suppose you would get a few different results. We only got 97% in the marketplace. The winner, after opening up $5.50, we got it out to $9, which was taken, and still started started $8, a 7 to 1 chance. You wouldn't see it, but $7 was given about Shahad on the fence. It started it was into 480 one stage, but it started $5. And the winner, if you gave the $9 and they even took the $8.50 off you at the finish, you could, because of the wide betting in this race, you could easily lose if you're bookmaking. What did we give the field? We did give 6 to 1 the field here. We gave 6 to 1 the field. Shahad, as I say, 7 to 1. $7 was given on the fence, and we gave, and it finished up starting $5 favourite, but we did give at one stage 6 to 1 the field. Race 5, 102.6 on the screen, 3 less, 99 only in the marketplace, and this was a good result for the captains. The winner, Shani Rose, who of course in the race at Newcastle in the Tibby, It was in the place at Newcastle where it was impossible to win, and that was close to the fence, the way the wind was blowing at Newcastle. So its run, Shani Rose's run at Newcastle, was a lot better than it looked. I said I did mark at Newcastle the winner of that race at the Tibby. I said if you run the race again, it would be a 20-to-1 chance. Whereas if you run the race again, Shani Rose, taking into account the bias, would only be an 8-to-1 chance. I finish up marking Shani Rose today 20-to-1, and as much as 61 was bet, $51 starting. And it was, I suppose, the way the race was run. Dre Fontaine, I own the lead, went straight to the lead, ridden by Tommy Terrific, and stayed 4 off the fence all of the way to the turn, with Soapy Star as outside, who ran a long last, eased down. Its action wasn't right, the postilion said, Brendan Abdullah. No, Huey, horseman Huey Bowman. The winner, the favourite, Red Tracer, it was sensationally backed. He was caught a little bit wide, Nash, from the outside barrier without a lot of cover. He was trying to half cart, but he was out facing the breeze. Not that the winner wasn't right, the leader, Dre Fontaine, wasn't running into it either. But while this was all happening, the winner, Shani Rose, who drew barrier 7, it was on the favourite's back. When they turned for home, Vendetta, who had drew barrier 1, it was able to get in between the leader, Dre Fontaine, and Soapy Star after it dropped off and get to the lead. But the favourite and the winner, coming widest in the straight, they were able to grab Vendetta, and the result for the captain, Shani Rose, beating the favourite by 0.2 of a length, and only 0.4 away was Vendetta. That was about all I would say there. The winner got a good run to beat the favourite. If it would have been the other way around, and the favourite would have been on Shani Rose's back, it most probably would have won. Race 6, there was 105.6 on the screen, 101 in the marketplace, and this winner, Complacent, silly me, I gave $11 about it, which you wouldn't see on the screen, 10-to-1. It did start $9 again at the finish of betting, but at one stage this runner was into $8, $11 into $8, very well backed, but got out to start $9 again towards the end of betting, and it sat 3 back on the fence from barrier 1, Complacent, ridden by clever Karen McAvoy, leading on the fence, and as I say there, the wind now was still in the westerly direction, but at least half its strength from, in the first race, if not a bit less. And it led on the fence, Order of the Sun, I Own the Lead, Tommy Terrific and Gay. On its outside was Fast Dragon. Directly behind them on the fence, Fueza. On its outside, Hydro, who ran a long last. Something wrong. It was galloped on, apparently, Hydro. And then on the fence behind Fueza was the winner, Complacent. And when they turned for home, the winner, the leader, I should say, Order of the Sun, it got well off the fence. Fueza, who was following it, it got inside the leader. And then the runner that was the winner, Complacent, who was on Fueza's back, got inside Fueza. And it was able to get inside those and get to the lead. But down the outside was the sensationally backed Savvy Nature, who won the championship, the Spring Stakes at Newcastle. And when it came quick, after sitting back in 3rd or 4th last position, Savvy Nature, it looked as if it would run up and not win easily, but most probably get the cash at about the 200-metre mark, but it wasn't to be. Complacent who the yard watchers said looked sensational in the yard, was able to hold on and beat the favourite Savvy Nature by a head, 0.2 of a length, and it was 3 lengths away to the second pick, Drago, who had every possible chance at off the fence with cover, but the first and second were far superior in this race, and they were by far the best runs. As I say, there was only about 101 in the marketplace. We gave as much as $3.80 about Savvy Nature, which only started around about the $3.10 mark, hard to get. And the winner, it did have synthetic hoof filler, which apparently is they've got that substance down pat these days. It's you can't tell the difference with their hooves once it goes in. It carried the synthetic hoof filler, but it was a fairly good win because he had to go to the inside. But as we will see in the last 2 races, it wasn't as bad as now as it was earlier on, because it could have been because of the wind factor. Race 7, there was 107.2 on the screen, a good 6 less in the marketplace, 101. Now these were the flux in this race. Centennial Park, 20 out to 30 back into 26, 21. Monton, 15 out to 26 back to 21. Transporter, 21 out to 26. High Esteem, hard to lay, $4.80 out to as much as $8, back into $7.50 late. The rider saying that it swallowed its tongue, and it did. It sat in a good position behind the lead, but that could have been it got out of the market. You swear blind they knew it was going to swallow its tongue, but that's what the rider said. Hoi Lonnie, who was eased down more or less, the rider said its action was no good, was $15 out to 17, back into about 13. Single was 20 out to 31. Rain Drum, the winner, good result for the captains, 15 out to 21. The next runner, Your Honour, $3.50 into 3.20. Now they returned this horse $3, a 2-to-1 chance, Your Honour. I was $3.50. No, I was $3.60 when they jumped, Your Honour, trying to lay it. I was laying it, but not for as much section as I would have liked. Proverb was 31 out to 41, back into 21. We had Asher Can, $8.50 out to $10, back into about 9. Hosting, $6 out to $8, back into $7. And Our Desert Warrior, $8 out to $11, back into about $9.50. And this winner, as I was saying, now this wind had become much lighter. It made it easier for horses who were closer to the fence to have a better chance. And this leading in this race on the fence was Asher Can, who came across the field and set a fairly solid pace. High Esteem directly behind it on the fence. Outside High Esteem we had Our Desert Warrior, and directly behind High Esteem on the fence, who went inside High Esteem after turning for home. And around Asher Can was the winner, Your Honour, ridden by Brendan Abdullah. No, ridden by the proper Peter Roble, of course. And it was able to beat the top weight here, Centennial Park, who sat back in 4th last position, wide but with cover. The runner that was wide in this race without any cover was the favourite, Your Honour. So that what could have possibly been against it. It was only beaten 1.9 lengths, running 6th, and it did cop a bit of a check. So being wide without cover didn't help. As I say, the second horse was on its back, got around it, turning for home, came down the outside, looked like it was going to win at one stage, but the winner kicked through on the inside and won. And the runner that sat 3rd off the fence, Our Desert Warrior, fought on very well, and it was only beaten 0.4 of a length. And that was about that race. As I say, there was a good 6% less that was on the screen. And in the last race we came along, and on the screen they said there was 101.4, 99 only in the marketplace. and this was very well back towards the end of betting, whereas the opening favourite Night Exemplar got out. These were the flux in the last. Tromso was $15 out to 16, back into about 13. Heart Tester, $4 out to 5. Now returned it, I think, a lot shorter than what it started. It started at $4, plenty of it. Golden Sunshine, $7 out to $10, back into $9.50. Diamond Earth, $6.50 out to $7.50, back into 7. Agent, six out to 7, you wouldn't see that, back into start $6. Happy Finish, 60 out to 70, back into 50. Night Exemplar, $3.50 into $3.30, but back out to about $3.70 towards the end of betting, and layable, but not going off, $3.70. And California Storm, $11 out to as much as 14. We only got about 99 in the last. The very well backed Heart Tester won the race. It sat in third position. It went straight to the lead. California Storm from barrier 1 stayed close to the fence in this race. On its outside, Golden Sunshine, they ran along fairly well. Heart Tester looked at them. Back on the fence we had Diamond Earth, never got beat far. It finished up running third, only beaten 0.7 of a length. And the other 4 behind those 4. And when they got down to the line, there was only 4 lengths between the field when they hit the post, and there was only 0.7 and 1.2 lengths between the first 5 runners. But the winner, as I say, sat in third position, got a good run, and was able to hold on fairly strongly down to the line to win by a half a length margin. That was about the meeting. It was a joke there. These meetings, especially at Rosehill, it was like this girls' day out rubbish. It's like the betting ring, where the betting ring, they should have it blocked off at either end, and a sign that says punters only, because the noise and the mug standing there with these young people with all this getting the drink into them all day. When they do come, if they do come up and have a bet, of course, it's the there's only 35 minutes or 40 minutes in between races. It takes them 5 minutes to have a bet. They come up, of course, the drink goes on the counter. They look at the board. And I'm wasting my time talking about it, but there should be a thoroughfare around the back of the ring if they want to walk past the betting ring. Go around the back of the ring or something like that. And also, the committee, we are bookmakers. We're trying to earn a living out here at these races. And you've got these, you had a bet, you keep on sticking a band just on the other side of the betting ring with some mug singing up there who can't fire, and all these other mugs there sitting along, singing along with him. The last race came along. Mark Sheen, your course announcer, he was overheard, what's the word? He was hauled by this mug singing just outside the betting ring. We can't hear the race properly, and all these mugs yelling out. And why can't you can you take the band up and put it in beside the committee room? We're trying to work at the races, and it's it's enough. It's hard enough as it is in this diabolical marketplace these days, and you've got all these mugs up there singing with this band that can't fire. You look down at all you had was 6 in the main ring, straight opposite behind the bookmaker stand. There's 6. I only had 6 tote operators, and of course it is the last race in Sydney. And you look around, and when they jump, and there are the 6 tote windows, and there's not a queue. How would there be a queue at the tote? How do they write a bet? But there's not one person in having a bet on the tote. Like the wagering at the races on the tote is nearly non-existent. All they're doing is selling grog to all these young mugs at the races. Get the band. We can't hear ourselves talk in the betting ring with the band right next to us. As I say, can't you take it, pull them around the corner and just put them outside the committee room or something, so you can all do the tickle toe waltz as you get there, as you're having your sandwiches and drink in there with them. It drives all of us bookmakers mad. We can't work with a band playing. Anyway, someone else surely will say something. That's about it. Now, of course, I've got the semi-final football is on tonight. Isn't that wonderful? We've got Warwick Farm on tomorrow. There'll be a million out there at Warwick Farm tomorrow. We've got 100 races on Monday. Come on, all you punters. Reach into your kicks and get out and bet and really bet hot and strong tomorrow at Warwick Farm. It'll be a fair evening. Ghost town. Good evening.